everybody is familiar with the good old-fashioned black and white composition book. I want to spruce it up a little bit in this video. I've already gone through Vanity Fair and Architectural Digest and also a couple of my stamps. So I think I have enough ephemera to go ahead and cover this book front and back. What I want to share also is that it's not necessary to cover absolutely everything because there is something very special about the black and white speckled look on the cover. Also, it's that term horror vacui, fear of empty space. I don't want to cover the entire book. I mean, that is an option, but that's not something that I'm gearing to do in this video. So I'm going to start with the cover, and I collected some images, of course, that I like because I'll be using this book very soon. Initially, I thought I wanted to go pink, but it's always interesting what I end up with, and it's actually kind of far away from what pink is. I love my circles, as you guys know, so those are definitely making an appearance. There is no pink on this side of the cover. The other side is going to be another story, and that'll be shown later in this video. I love this. This was like, I felt like it was handmade for me. And of course, I do love black and white images. So I'm going to go ahead and start constructing this. All I really need is my X-Acto knife, a paintbrush, trusty Mod Podge, and some wax paper, because that's going to help me smooth things down and keep it from getting wrinkly and crinkly. And why don't we get started? Take a short break to chat a little bit. I'm still going to work, but you may have noticed with my X-Acto knife, I am scoring the cover. That is to create tooth for the magazine to adhere to the cover. It's just a very light scoring on the cover itself and a little bit on the magazine if I know the image is going to cover it. So I'm just barely scoring this side of the magazine. I am also applying my glue a bit liberally because I wanted to, obviously want everything to stick. And ideally, I want the glue to be on the cover with a little bit on the ephemera. As I've shared before, this is magazine paper. Its purpose was to host imagery and text and for us to read. It is able to take a bit of a beating, being tossed around, thrown on the couch after you're done reading it, but it's not meant for this kind of abuse, which is collage work. But, oh my gosh, the beautiful imagery that we get from these magazines. So I'm just coming in here and adding a little bit of glue, not a lot. Like I've shared before again, I tend to be heavy-handed with my media, and I have been using packing tape on my collages mainly, not too much of this Mod Podge. So I'm really, not only am I hearkening back to my childhood and teenagehood with this composition book, but I'm using Mod Podge again, and for me and my collage, I haven't used it very much lately. We're also experiencing some of the inevitable wrinkles. Sorry guys, I don't really have a really good remedy for that, but it's there. I'm not thrilled with it, but I'm just trying to have fun this afternoon with some collage and brighten up this little book. So continuing, we got a neat swatch of green. I wanted something up here. And like I said, I didn't score here. I am trying to, just going to go ahead and score over the glue. I am trying to maintain some of this background of this composition book, and I'm actually maintaining the spine, the black spine. I really like the way it looks. And we're not covering up absolutely everything. If that is something I want to do in the future, of course I'm going to do something like that. But I might just leave a little bit of breathing room, a little bit of space. And it's offering some really fantastic contrast, that black and white background. So I'm going to respect it and allow it and see what we come up with. We can always add stuff later. As for taking stuff out, I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. So we have the circle theme going on quite a bit. And we also have some faces. I saw this wonderful little face. Let me go ahead and score where he's going to go. I want to put him here. He's not a focal point. He is a secondary focal point. Got a lot of actually little focal points going on. The Eiffel Tower is definitely the focal point, I believe, for this composition. I want it to be a composition that the eye can travel, just like we travel anywhere in the world. Yeah, let's go ahead and put him here. Like his little surprised look. And rub him on with some wax paper. Now what I am going to do to try and help those bubble, I'm not going to get rid of all those creases and wrinkles. They are there to stay, unfortunately. I am going to put this book beneath some thick books, heavy art books perhaps, I used once upon a time, and see if we might not be able to get rid of those wrinkles. Okay, so here is, again, want to keep the composition going, want to keep it flowing. That actually looks kind of cool, doesn't it? I could do this, because things are actually what's going on here also, and I'm not opposed to it. I don't think it's a bad thing. Nothing really looks that connected. It's actually kind of separated a little bit, and that's not awful either. It's compartmentalized. You have something more aboriginal going on here, and then something very graphic designy, then a photograph and graphic design again. It's all about the graphic design, I think, ultimately. And adding my glue. Like I said, I can also add some other imagery later if I feel like it. It may be something that I sleep on and I wake up later and decide that I need to add or just leave it alone. Initially, I thought, oh, I'm going to cover it up with all sorts of wonderful swatches of design, something like this. I was really geared up to using pieces from the Architectural Digest and just adding it. But like I said, I kind of like the old school feel of the composition book. Let me put something here, even maybe a stamp. I have some stamps that are ready to go. And then I had my labels. I hope that might work too. I had my labels from a pasta jar that I shared in a short video here on YouTube. And I pulled those out because I thought this might really work. And I don't know if they're going to ultimately. Maybe a little too much. But I do have some wonderful stamps in the collection, and I might throw them in. But I'm going to wait until the last minute. So, front cover, I feel, is done. And off-site, just to stay honest and just to keep things transparent here on our collage channel, I have my camera phone, well, my phone with my camera, and I am actually going ahead and trying to look at the pictures of different compositions that I took. So I had the original one here. I don't know, that's kind of hard to see. And now I'm going to look at the back, which that's very hard to see. But there was a wonderful pink door that I absolutely fell in love with. And that's why I thought I was going to go in the pink direction. So just to give you an idea, when I'm filming this video, the 2023 Barbie movie came out recently. And I'm not a Barbie fan. I did like Barbie as a little girl, but I've always loved pink. I wasn't a huge Barbie person either, but I thought it was kind of fun, and I know that that's kind of influencing me, even though I'm not planning on seeing the movie yet. So pink was definitely playing a part in this. And here we go with the black and white contrast. I'd like to cover up this part because it's absolutely an interesting composition book, blah, blah, blah. We need something a little more fun there. So I'm looking at my camera phone and at my reference point of my original my original composition. I love these pops of color. I don't like that term, pops of color. That's just me. But I do like them here. And I think, let's go ahead and score this. And I'm going to get back to work and build the back cover of this collage composition book. Done. Here's the back side. I did use my label from the pasta jar. I did use stamps. Stamps are great for something like this because they can get kicked around and they're built to withstand all sorts of transit. I used a couple of them on this side, 3 altogether. And I also tried to stay away from really delicate details. I got a little delicate here with our fun shark. But again, this is something that I'm going to be using on a day-to-day basis for note-taking and such, journaling and whatnot. And I know it's going to rip and it's going to feel some pain. So I didn't want it to have too many highly detailed collage pieces in here. And here is the cover. There's a lot going on here on the back. Maybe I really wanted to do pink after all. I love the way it looks. I'm very, very happy with it. It's going to suit my needs and hopefully inspire me too. I think other artists can relate to this, and it's not to be egotistical, but sometimes we do inspire ourselves when we see our own artwork on an everyday basis, either hanging in our homes or on a notebook, an old composition book. I do like the way the front cover is. I added this little stamp which mimics the color of this mask, so we have a nice balance going on here. And also to keep in tune with the theme of the black and white picture, the same image from the same magazine, the same ad is on the back here. So I am really happy with it, and that didn't take me very long at all. No, I'm not crazy about the wrinkles and such in the images because of the glue, but it's kind of a necessary evil until I can figure something else out. Am I going to seal it with anything? Not sure yet. I do have some sealants that I can use. I might put a little bit on, but I don't want it to get too sticky or anything because then it gets a little messy. It's already getting a little messy. It's picking up cat hair of all things. Can you believe? And I think it's ready to go. I'm pleased with it. Maybe I should laminate it. I don't really have anything to laminate it with though except packing tape, and then we'll just have the strips, and it's a possibility. And if I feel even more enthusiastic about collaging, I can always do the inside covers too. Not today. Now there were parts of it that I did want to trim. So there's just a little bit of trimming. We're just going to do it right now with my scissors. It's a little awkward. You just use the edge as my guide. Okay. It's not ideal. Probably shouldn't do that for craftsmanship purposes on this end too. Usually I would use a straight edge and my X-Acto knife, but I'm being a little rough today. You know what? You can be rough and tumble with this. It's a little composition book, and it has magazine ephemera on it. So let me open it up this way. That's what it looks like. That's the composition collage. Literally, composition. I'm pretty pleased with the compositions. I hope you are too, and I thank you so much for watching.